What would you advise be done in the case of Kaduna State, for instance, these 22,000 teachers? What should we do with them?
Like I said, we need to have everybody on board. Don't just throw out the baby with the bathwater. There are some teachers, obviously, who really are not cut out to do the job. There's no two ways about it. But there are some who really, really, really want to give their best. They really work hard. They really want to work with their students. Weed through them. See which ones we can work with. Train them, empower them, build them. Like I said, there are a group of us that really do want to work with these teachers, want to empower them, want to deploy intervention strategies, and constantly create capacity building for them, transforming and reforming our system. We need to empower people who are ready to do that, like us.
How successful are some of those works of yours and your colleagues going?
When you are baking bread, it takes a little bit of yeast. That's your catalyst. I like to believe, and I hold on to the fact that there is hope, because like I said, when you're baking bread, you put a little bit of yeast, and gradually it works its way through the flour, the dough. We are working, we're pushing. We need more of us to support our parents. I mentioned their key stakeholders, our educators, because we're fighting for you. And of course, our policy holders to come and say, you know what, we see what you're doing. How do we all come together and sit down at this table and effect change?
Because, I mean, parents too, and then students, that's on the one hand, but sometimes when you get to see reports, or even JAM tell you that these days, you see parents who want to do certain things for their wards. We have to ask the question, are we, from what you've seen out there, are we really willing to go the whole hog and ensure that we take the pains to do what we have to do to move our education system forward?
We need a mindset reshift in this country. We really do. Unfortunately, our priorities are not where they should be. We need to understand that, like I mentioned earlier before, the rest of the world is moving at lightning pace right now towards everything being technologically based. There's a digital revolution, as we all know. We're all addicted to our phones now. We need to prepare ourselves for that. A lot of jobs are going to be replaced by artificial intelligence. It's out there. We all know that. Cars, a lot of cars are going to be electric in the next 5, 10, 15 years. We need to start preparing our children for that. So there needs to be a shift. There needs to be preparation, building our students. There's a term I coined last year called future readiness. And future readiness to me is enabling our students to adopt and have innovative thinking, where they use tools to prepare themselves for college. That's if they decide they want to go to college. That's another topic. And career that they want in the future. In this rapidly changing economy, we need to start having that mindset of seeing the future as already being here. Sometimes I'm amazed at how things are moving by at lightning pace. I follow a lot of scientific and technological advancements on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm amazed at how things are just moving so fast. We should be preparing and building our students for that instead of leaving them stuck in the 20th century. The rest of the world is talking about 21st century skills. So there needs to be that shift for our parents, and we need to create that mental shift for our students and empower educators to deploy these skills.
Do you think that we're in a state of emergency in the education sector?
Beyond the state of emergency, it's a crisis.
So what must we do, I mean, in terms of, say, if we're looking at technology as the determinant of success for any nation, and hopefully education will take the lead, what must we begin to do now sectorally, or should I say give it some timelines? What must we do step by step to write and put our students or the children in the right path to meet up with these challenges?
Like whenever you're trying to do something, I know I sound like a resounding gong, but there's a reason why I'm reiterating. When you say something 3 times, it sticks in your mind. The example of South Korea. I just saw some slides I think it was 2 weeks ago, showing where South Korea was in the 50s and the 60s. Do you know that I actually believed that the pictures I was looking at were here in Nigeria? It was to my ultimate amazement that they were actually pictures from South Korea. And then I saw the pictures of where they are now. What happened that made that shift between where they were and where they are now was education, and they had a plan. And the plan was, first of all, started with the young ones. And that's why I like to say catch them young. I believe that primary education should be free. But beyond being free, we should deploy teachers who are highly trained to really boost our students and make them have this love of learning, and also to boost and empower the skills. Then we get to our secondary school years and also have very highly trained, highly skilled teachers. And you see, for you to do that, you have to reward excellence for the teachers. You have to create incentives for the teachers. And that's what they've done in those countries. Singapore, Finland, they've done that. They've created incentives. They've created environments that make the teachers very proud of what they're doing and ready to give their best to the students. Plus, of course, they choose the best candidates from the universities to be teachers. You can only give what you have. If you have the best, you give the best.
You know, you alluded to us having 7% compared to some other countries that have got 20% and perhaps more. I'm just wondering, if we were even to increase it to 15 or 20%, with the way our structure is currently constituted, can we make the desired impact?
Execution. I come back to execution again. You're right. Even dumping more money when you don't have a properly aligned structure does not help. So we need to have properly aligned structures. We need to have the right people. We can't just throw titled heads and say you are in charge of this sector, you're in charge of that sector. We have to have people who actually have experience and who have shown a track record for excellence. Because remember, what we're trying to model for our students is excellence. The rest of the world understands about this. We need to get to that place. And not that we are not excellent. Look at how wonderfully we do in other countries. You hear reports of people, some of our students in the US, being admitted to the 7 Ivy League colleges. You hear our students smashing records in Russia, medical student records in Russia, in the UK. So our students are hardworking. Our students are capable of the best. We just need to empower them here.